Are you being ignored by someone you care about? If so, you know it's one of the most frustrating and difficult situations to deal with, especially when you don't know the reason. That's why in this video, I'm going to share the top 5 reasons why the person you're dating or interested in might be ignoring you. And I'm going to tell you exactly what to do about each one of them. So don't go anywhere because we're starting in 4 seconds. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Antonio Borrello. Welcome to another video. I'm a psychologist and relationship coach, and I make weekly dating and relationship advice videos. This channel is all about helping you build great relationships so you can grow happy with the people you love. So if you're interested in making your love life the best part of your life, start now by clicking the subscribe button and the bell notification so you aren't missing anything. Oh, and make sure you watch this video all the way till the end, because after we talk about why he's ignoring you, I'm going to tell you the 4 things that you absolutely must not do. These are the things that will sabotage your chances of turning things around. So make sure you watch the whole video and get those too. And I'm also going to tell you how you can win a $50 Amazon gift card just for leaving a comment below. So don't miss that easy money. Okay, on to our topic. What's a guy thinking when he ignores you, and what can you do about it? There are so many reasons why men and women resort to ignoring or fading away from a person that they're dating. And make no mistake about it, feeling ignored sucks. It's hurtful, it's frustrating, and unfortunately, it's a common situation that people deal with when in dating relationships. Everything starts out great, he's giving you tons of attention, making plans to see you, he's keeping in touch on the phone and with text. Basically, things feel perfect. But then, something happens. He stops calling and has become less responsive to you, or perhaps he doesn't even respond to you on the same day. He's ignoring you and it feels horrible in the pit of your stomach. And that's when you start questioning everything. You're replaying your interactions over and over and trying to figure out what happened. Was it something you said? Did they learn something about you that they don't like? Why is he ignoring you, and why is it so difficult to handle? Well, let me explain. Being ignored is so difficult because it forces us to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity. And the brain does not like either uncertainty or ambiguity, especially when we're dealing with matters of the heart or when we can imagine scenarios in which we feel threatened. It's a phenomenon that has been very well researched. For example, a 2005 university study concerned with human decision-making found that even a little bit of ambiguity will activate the amygdala, the region of the brain that's responsible for processing emotional reactions and threat responses. The researchers found that the amygdala lights up on neuroimaging scans when we deal with ambiguity and uncertainty. In other words, the more uncertainty and ambiguity, the more the amygdala registers a threat response. And it's so difficult to handle because that part of your brain can't separate physical threats like someone coming at you with a knife from silly threats like someone not responding to your text messages. And then you'll have people who say things like, just forget about it. What's the big deal? He isn't responding to you or he's ignoring you. Just get over it. But that's not so easy. Trying to talk yourself out of it isn't super effective. And not only does the uncertainty feel threatening and anxiety-provoking, being ignored can have serious physical side effects too. The silent treatment, even if it's brief, also activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that detects physical pain. Yes, you heard that correctly. The initial pain is the same in your brain as physical pain and causes physical symptoms too. So yeah, being ignored hurts a lot. But there is a little bit of good news. Because this emotional pain is felt in the same areas of the brain as physical pain, you can take Tylenol or ibuprofen to help alleviate the pain. That's true. Look it up. Do a Google search and look it up. So we know the feelings of being ignored are real and they are painful. So why are they doing it? What are they thinking when they're ignoring you? Well, first, you have to be absolutely sure that he's ignoring you. You've got to be completely certain that you aren't overreacting and panicking when there may be a legitimate and harmless reason for his lack of communication. When a man doesn't reply to your text messages right away, but eventually he gets back to you in a few hours or the next day, this isn't such a big deal. Chances are he's got an explanation and a good reason for not getting back to you quickly. But if someone is leaving you unanswered after days and this behavior is completely unlike him, then you know that you're being ignored. Now you can start to worry. So if you feel like your boyfriend or the guy you're interested in is ignoring you, here are the top 5 reasons and how you can deal with them. Number 1, they're playing games or playing hard to get. At the beginning of a relationship, a person may believe that they have to play hard to get in order to sustain your interest. This kind of behavior is a powerful form of manipulation that sadly works pretty well, especially on people with low self-esteem. But even if your self-esteem is very robust, if you've been with a person for a little while and they start taking days and days to respond to your messages or answer your calls, it gets very frustrating. See, he wants you to experience that uncertain, panicked response so that you'll be more receptive to him when he does reply. So what should you do? Well, call them out on that behavior. You can say something like this: "You seemed really distant in the past few weeks. You haven't been calling or texting, and it takes you hours and days to respond to my message with 1 or 2 words. What's going on? Are you okay?" Try not to be accusatory because that can be met with defensiveness. And by the way, this isn't a desperate thing either. It just lets him know that you've noticed a change in his behavior, and it gives him an opportunity to explain. Number 2, he's punishing you. When someone is intentionally ignoring you to punish you, it's because he wants you to feel the pain that uncertainty provokes. He may be motivated by revenge, or he feels that you've ignored him, so he's doing the same. Or if you're in the middle of an argument, he might be ignoring you until the situation calms down, especially if he's uncomfortable with conflict or feels that arguing is counterproductive. Even so, being ignored when you're angry is incredibly frustrating and not a healthy way to solve a dispute. The best relationships are built on communication. If your partner is unwilling to engage with you to resolve issues and prefers to ignore you, then you should reconsider whether they are mature enough to be in a relationship with you. Number 3, he's not alone. So this one could be good or bad. Some people put their phones away when they are visiting with family or friends, or when they're working closely with a colleague. If that's the case, he probably does the same when he's with you. But if he's a person who is constantly taking calls and texts even when you're together, then you might question his motives for ignoring your calls or texts. I mean, is he ignoring you because he's with someone that he's hiding you from? So here's a real example of a person who is cheating on her boyfriend. Whenever she was spending time with her boyfriend, she would block the other guy's number on her cell phone. That way she wouldn't risk a text or call coming through and having to explain to her boyfriend. And when she was with the other guy, she temporarily blocked her boyfriend's phone number. Obviously, she made these men feel ignored as their calls and texts went unread and unanswered. So, is he ignoring you because he's up to no good? If that's the case, be prepared for some kind of elaborate explanation for his disappearance. Number 4, he's trying to break up with you. Oftentimes, someone you're dating becomes distant because they're afraid of the confrontation of breaking up with you. They would rather fade out of a relationship than end it properly. So if you feel him pulling away and making excuses not to see you, then he's using ignoring you as a breakup method. He's hoping that you'll eventually get fed up of being ignored and end the relationship yourself. Or you'll just stop trying and the relationship will fizzle out without any kind of confrontation. So what can you do? Instead of being strung along, tell him that if this isn't working out for him, you'll understand. Then you'll have the opportunity to move on without any doubt or hesitation. So if he wants to break up, you've just given him the opportunity. And if he doesn't want to break up, it gives you an opportunity to communicate about your needs and expectations. Number 5, he's just not that into you. This can be a difficult truth to accept. We often choose to believe that someone is just busy or naturally bad at texting, which is why they are ignoring you. But do you really want to be with someone who puts contacting you at the bottom of his to-do list? I mean, everyone has bad days, but in the early days of a relationship, there's no reason why he should be ignoring you. And if he is, then he's either still playing games and not ready for a long-lasting relationship, or just not that into you. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable and find out what's going on. Look, I understand the need to play it cool and not get too invested. I mean, who wants to be hurt? But if you've been playing it cool and not showing too much interest, maybe he mistook that for you being disinterested. And so that's the same vibe he's giving you. So take a chance and be vulnerable. Tell him how much you like being with him and that you want to see him. If he's on the same page, he will also let his guard down and share his feelings. But if he doesn't, then you know he's just not that into you, and you can decide if you want to continue pursuing the relationship or not. Okay, now we move on to the things you absolutely must not do. So keep watching, because if you do these things, you're ruining your chances of making things right again. Number 1, don't keep calling and texting. If there's a legit reason why he's not responding as much, Over texting or over calling just to get an answer will come off as possessive and insecure and a little crazy. Trust me, he's seeing your calls and texts. Besides, if he didn't see that you've been trying to reach him, shouldn't he be concerned and reach out to you? So yeah, he's seeing that you reached out. If he still doesn't respond after a week, you may need to come to grips with the fact that you've been ghosted. Number 2, no begging and pleading. Regardless of how much it hurts, you can't beg or plead with a person to stay with you. When you do and when you get rejected, you will feel more hurt and feel helpless and frustrated. And begging and pleading will make them cringe and feel sorry for you. And if they are ignoring you because they can't handle confrontation, then they certainly will move further away if they know that you're begging and pleading. Number 3, don't resort to hurtful insults or name calling or picking a fight. Of course you're angry, but confrontations or saying something hurtful will be something that you later regret. Number 4, no hunting and haunting. Hunting involves going to places with a high probability of running into your partner. You do that because you're hoping for a sudden and dramatic change of heart after a coincidental meeting. Haunting refers to stalking behaviors like driving by your partner's home or monitoring their social media sites, hoping to see that nothing in their life has changed. These hunting and haunting behaviors are detrimental to you for several reasons. First, they require you to spend a considerable amount of time and energy thinking about the other person and what they might be doing. And when you find evidence that your ex-partner has moved on, you'll make unfavorable comparisons to your life and ruminate about your loss. Too often the information you learn is incomplete and you become more curious. Again, the focus is on them instead of focusing on the things that you could be doing to speed up your recovery. Look, I know how frustrating it is to feel like you're being ignored. It can be a powerful form of abuse. But sometimes it happens in the middle of a heated argument, and temporary silence can be healthy, especially to avoid exacerbating a situation or to avoid saying something that is later regretted. However, deliberately giving someone the silent treatment as a method of control or punishment is abusive. It's not problem solving. When there's a problem between two people, the only healthy thing to do is to engage in dialogue to find solutions. Silence and distance only generate more problems and in the end, solve absolutely nothing. You know I love reading about your situations and getting feedback from you. So much so that I've decided to try something new to encourage you to leave a comment. So I'm going to give away a $50 Amazon gift card to one of the first 30 people who leave a comment on this video. So suggest a topic that you'd like me to talk about in a future video, or describe a situation where you or someone you know dealt with being ignored. I'm going to randomly pick a number from 1 to 30, and the person whose comment that corresponds to will get a $50 Amazon gift card through email. So take a moment, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment. That's all you have to do. And of course, I'm going to respond to all of you as well. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to chatting with you below. I'll see you in the next video.